As part of 419 Day, the Toledo Fair Housing Center hosted their third annual Ode to the Zip Code poetry contest. A zip ode poem is a 5-line poem in which the number of words corresponds to the number of digits in your zip code. 350 zip odes from 16 different zip codes were submitted, and 30 finalists were invited to come and read their works at the main library's McMaster Center.
This is the Ode to the Zip Code poetry contest. It's our third year doing this event, and I first came up with this idea when I attended a conference in Miami, Florida about 4 years ago, where this founder of O Miami, which is a poetry festival, they did what they called zip odes, short poems based on your zip code. So I brought the idea back from Miami, Florida, and pitched it here to our staff, and they just ran with it. And we're grateful to our partners, the Arts Commission, the Toledo Lucas County Public Library, and the city paper all came together to help the Fair Housing Center put the Ode to the Zip Code together. And it's really a creative way for the entire community to write about where they live. And it makes us think about how our lives are really centered around our zip code and where we live, where we call home. And where we call home often determines our access to many opportunities like transportation, education, employment, and healthcare. There are a lot of studies that have determined that your zip code is actually more important than your genetic code in determining your life outcomes, like whether or not you'll be incarcerated, whether or not you'll graduate from high school and go on to college, what kind of income you'll have. And all of that is affected by where we live and our access to, or how we're restricted from accessing opportunities like education and employment and healthcare. To me, poetry is a creative way to provide hope, and I think hope is an antidote to injustice. And the zip code poems, Ode to the Zip Code, is really simple but profound. You know, anybody can write a zip ode. You just take your zip code, and the number of words per line of your poem correspond to the digits in your zip code, and it's a creative, easy way for people to really think about and talk about where they live.
I see systemic poverty, ugly and unnecessary. Potholes and panhandlers proliferate so abundantly. Naively, I dream of possibilities.
I'm in 7th grade, waiting for Tarda on the steps of El Tipico. No one waiting at this stop speaks to anyone else. The others smoking, sneering. Me, pretending I'm a horse.
Poke weed around the Pontiac in the backyard, a beehive in the engine block, dripping oil and honey.
Yes, it was adults only, and the planning committee this year decided to expand it and give the youth a voice because, again, place matters, and it's not just for adults, but children are impacted by where they live, whether they can get out and play and feel safe in their neighborhood, what their neighbors look like. Are they the same as me? Are they different from me? What kind of interactions do I have? Is it safe for me to ride my bicycle in the neighborhood? Can I walk to school? Is there a library? That kind of thing. So we wanted to give the youth a voice because I think too often we tell children they should be seen and not heard. But really we need to listen to them because they're our future and they are a mirror to us as adults reflecting what's going on in our community and our neighborhood. So we wanted to give a voice to the youth through the Ode to the Zip Code poetry contest.
Here in my neighborhood, I hear boom, could be fireworks or a backfire, confused. Probably somebody firing at a dude.
When the neighbors moved and left me, washed away with the sidewalk chalk, dust, once the sun reappeared.
Outside the house, waiting to go in. I'm nervous to see the inside, holding my breath, holding my breath, holding my breath. The door opens, and I gasp.
3 winners from each the adult and youth category received a cash prize and a medal. All participants received a tote bag filled with goodies.
Feels great. I love this event. It's one of my favorite events of the year. I love to see all the people from the different communities, and it just seems like a really good sampling of the area. You know, the area and finding beauty in the challenges of the area is kind of an obsession of mine. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Our challenges can be what makes us beautiful.